Missed out on breakfast? Fret not. It's never too late to grab a bite.
All right, today's Breakfast Bites focuses on this day many federal workers in the U.S. have been bracing for. President Trump has told them, get back to the office by today, February 6th, or you're fired.
You're fired.
You're fired. Gone are the work from home days, it seems, from many companies. Big companies like Amazon, JP Morgan, Walmart have also started rolling back remote work. So we've talked about this before, but let's dive deeper into the rise and fall of remote work. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I can see the point from the employer's perspective, because you want to build a culture and you can't really build it when your workers are virtual, right? You need people to be around doing the water cooler talk and all the stuff that comes along with being in the office.
Okay,
Yep.
so Ryan is pro back to the office. What about you?
Honestly, there's too many factors at play here. I am pro-hybrid.
Yeah.
If employers and employees can come to some kind of amicable solution on it. And I think ultimately it's down to clear communication between the two biggest stakeholders in this play.
Hear, hear. Okay, so President Trump says the reason why he announced this ultimatum is because remote workers are not productive, and I quote, most of the time they're not working.
Wow.
What
That's
do
a
you
very
think?
Trump-esque statement to make, though.
Very definitive, right?
Yeah, very definitive.
Yeah.
I can see why, though, because if you're at home, it's hard to draw the boundary sometimes. Your office is just a few meters from your bed and the kitchen and the TV and so on.
That's
Distractions are everywhere.
Yeah, and I think also, whereas at the office, let's say you do your job, you get in at 9, you roll out at 5, you clock in, you clock out, there's a system. But at home, you can kind of take breaks, you can take naps, you can eat dinner at odd times.
You can work
at night.
into the night, yes.
Into the night, exactly. So how does an employer keep their employees accountable? It becomes a bit of a gray, blurry line.
How true is this idea that remote workers are not productive? Let's look at the numbers. Here in Singapore, we're even more pro-remote work than the global average. According to IMF economists, more than 7 in 10 Singaporeans say they prefer working from home or at least part of the time, so hybrid, compared to 63% globally. So maybe we should look at, to your point, a mix of both, right? Not completely remote work, but partly in the office, partly at home. But as you know, we can now apply for flexible work arrangements here in Singapore starting December 1st, and your employers technically are required to consider it. So let's have that debate. Which is better? Is one better for the employer or the employee? So let's talk about productivity. One argument against remote work is that managers struggle to monitor employees and track real-time progress. So with an in-person team, it's easier to check in. You can make quick adjustments and keep projects moving.
Yeah.
Right? But on the flip side, remote work can be productive, right? If companies set clear expectations and deadlines, focus on results rather than just time spent at a desk. After all, just being in the office doesn't automatically mean you're working hard. I mean, we've all seen people slacking off in the office, right?
Sure.
Does your presence really mean that much?
I have heard of this story where the employer has a software enabled to track people on screen. So you can't be away from a computer or camera for an extended period of time. Otherwise, you're going to be flagged as being so-called unproductive. So yeah, it can be done if you want to track your employer remotely, but it is a very strange feeling to be watched all the time.
I'm sure it is. And are you not watched as closely when you're in the office? As long as they see you at your desk, you could be doing whatever you want.
Exactly. I think that's the case in many companies.
Yeah. Well, actually, studies also have shown that many employees get more done when they're working remotely without the office distractions, unnecessary meetings, or just time spent looking busy. A study by Stanford University even found that remote workers are 13% more productive than their office counterparts. But of course, this is all very subjective, right? It
Yeah.
depends on the person, the company, and so on.
I think to Emaad's point, it comes down to the person's circumstances, because sometimes a home can be more chaotic with things going on in the background.
Kids, yeah.
Kids thinking, hey, you're here, so I'm going to ask you something. every 5 minutes.
Yes,
So it's a
that's true.
double-edged sword, right? You're at home, you get to spend more time with the kids. So you could argue I'm happier and I'm more productive. But you could also argue, no, I'm too busy. It's too chaotic, to Ryan's point. I can't get anything done. I want to come back to the office, right?
That's true. So maybe we should look at our individual circumstances. Plus, when it comes to remote working, there's a huge time saver, which is commuting. So the average worker in Singapore spends an hour a day commuting, some even more. So that's extra time that could be used for either actual work or even personal well-being, because another big plus of remote work, research has found that remote employees are 30% more likely to fit in a workout during the day compared to those going into an office, because it makes sense. No long commute, more flexibility for a quick run, gym session, even just stretching between calls. But of course, that time is coming from somewhere.
Yeah, here's another perspective. So as being someone who has to run an office full of employees, from the Gen Zers to the Boomers, and he told me in the office you have the A-team, the superstars who will get work done wherever they are, whatever they're doing, and they can do virtual work or be in an office. But you have the other folks who, no matter where they are just not going to be productive. So that's the folks you have to be a bit more, I suppose, considerate about in terms of the conditions you're supplying them. So back to the point, it really depends on the person.
But this is something to think about, right? Maybe it's the worker and not the location. But at the end of the day, it's all about balance. The preference for remote work doesn't seem to be going away, but companies will need to figure out the best mix of flexibility and in-office collaboration. But the remote work debate rages on, whether you're dialing in from home or back at your office desks. What do you think? Write into us to let us know, yay or nay to remote work.